wonderful next guests. Now, the vision of the Peninsula Home Hospice is to work together to live well and die well. They support members of our local community in palliative care and are always there when we need them most. And now, in the lead up to Christmas, they're asking for our help. So we are thrilled to welcome CEO Janet Phillips and the Clinical Manager at Allied Health, Inge McGinn, to Spilling the Tea and to RPP. Welcome.
I'm very excited to be here, and I actually am going to look for a job here in the future.
We'll welcome
it's the first time
you.
I've been to a radio station, so I'm very excited.
It's a pretty good one, if I may say so ourselves.
Yeah. I love that you're immediately on board to sign up. So great. I'm just taking Janet away now, and we'll be filling in some forms. No, but before we do that, and welcome to Inge. Sorry, I'm waving at Inge across the expanse of the studio. But
it's great being here. Thank you so much for having us.
Oh, absolute pleasure. Can you take us through the services that Peninsula Home Hospice offer?
Absolutely. So, look, it's an amazing service. As I was saying to you earlier, Chris, we've almost doubled in size in the last 3 years since I've been there.
Wow.
We provide palliative care in people's own home. We also provide that care to residents in aged care facilities because that is their home.
Right.
And we cover from the tip of Portsea all the way down to Mordialloc Creek. So it's quite a huge area that we cover.
Yeah.
So the number of clients, we call them clients, not patients, that are on our program at any one time can be between 350 and 400. Enough to fill a small hospital. So it's quite big.
Wow.
Yeah.
And on top of that, we would probably have about 500 bereaved clients.
That's right.
Okay. I'm going to ask you a bit about that. But so this is actually in the home, and this is because people choose to be at home rather than to spend their last days in a hospital environment.
Correct. Yeah. And they can be on our program for different, it's all age groups, right, from babies up until 100 plus. So it's a free service. It's funded by the Victorian government.
Yeah.
And the remainder is, we actually are a registered charity, so the remaining funding that we get that we absolutely need is through donations and fundraising events.
Yeah, that's incredible. I had no idea it was a free service. And 350 people you're currently taking care of. No wonder you needed to double in size.
Yes. So we have a team of doctors that are all they're medical consultants trained in palliative care.
Yeah.
We have a team of nurses that are all specialist palliative care trained, and a team of Allied Health. We also have a clinical administration team who, hello guys, if you're listening, they said they're going to have it on loud in the office, it's an incredible team that work very, very closely together. In the morning start, we have a handover meeting, and I often pop in. It gives me great joy because there is a real collegiality, working together to make sure all of our clients get the best care every time. There's a lot of laughter. People think palliative care must be sad. Yes, it is. But a lot of people think, well, why are you working in that area, Janet? It's very doom and gloom. It's the most joyous job I've ever had. I've worked in palliative care for over 20 years, and it's the most rewarding. It's incredibly rewarding, and we have a lot of laughs with families and their support networks, and go to 90th birthday parties and celebrate with them, get people to weddings and graduations, and that there's nothing more rewarding than that.
That is lovely. Absolutely incredible. And Inge, because you mentioned that that's not all you do. Can you tell us about the Sunrise program?
Sunrise is for a group of clients whose intimate partner has died, and so it's an opportunity to come together each month and meet with other people in like circumstances. And if you can think of, especially if you've been married to someone for 20 years, 40 years, 70 years, and they die, when you've been so close with someone, the loss of, or someone dying, it's how do I get back to normal again?
Yeah.
And how do I even face the community? So the group really gives an opportunity for them to decrease their isolation, build confidence about going out again, and just learn from each other, as well as enjoying good food and having a good time.
Oh, I can't go wrong with that.
So how many people do you have involved in the program at the moment?
So clients can participate in the program for up to 18 months. And look, we can have anywhere between, we're probably only looking at a max about 25. If we go over 25, we really need to be looking at starting another group.
Yeah.
Because then you start losing that conversation and that peer support that they provide each other. But there's also staff there that will help facilitate that. And I think a really other important part of the program is the volunteers. So we have volunteers, again, someone who's newly bereaved, they can be quite anxious just walking into a room. So we might buddy them up with a volunteer to help them come in, introduce them to people, even drive them if that's going to help. So it's about helping them comfortably shift back in and building community.
Right, that's really lovely. So what kind of response have you had? What feedback have you had about the program?
Oh, I can give you one. It happened today. I'm sorry, I'm butting in. I always butt in. Sorry.
No, that's all right.
But I do have one.
Yeah.
Someone who's currently part of the Sunrise Group rang one of our councillors this morning and was really struggling now that we're heading into the Christmas period. This is a really tough time.
Yeah.
And, she spent time talking about, some strategies on how to get through. And she said, I just love this group. It's like a big warm blanket that I can pull up and just, get comfort. It's so empowering for me. So that to me says a lot about what the Sunrise Group can offer these people.
Do a lot of them stay in contact because they've had such important moments together, building that almost a community together?
They do, and I mean our aim is for them to build a community and move on, and not to have to keep attending. They have, and we know incidentally, as each year passes on, a small group will continue on their own and have built, really strong friendships during that time that has seen them through long after we've disappeared from their life.
Oh, that's so important.
Graduate recently, haven't we?
Yeah.
And two of the men that were part of the group have formed a really close friendship, which is wonderful. There's lots of great outcomes.
That's lovely because it's famously hard for men to find friendships as they get older. Yeah, they tend to rely on family, and if they don't have that, then
That's really inspiring. We're speaking with Janet Phillips and Inge McGinn from the Peninsula Home Hospice. You mentioned the festive season, and that's coming up, and that is a hard time for people who have suffered a loss. Do you offer anything in terms of advice on how to cope? Or?
First Christmas, last Christmas and first Christmas. So for a lot of our clients, it's the last Christmas that they'll be having with a loved one,
right?
Because that person will be dying, and it's a first Christmas without a loved one for another group of our clients. And it's really recognising that this is a really hard and difficult time of year. And I think for clients, or for anyone going through this, is that it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to not, have to enter into the festive season if you're not feeling comfortable about that. And to work out your own ways through that is important. And for some people, that might mean cancelling Christmas completely.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or it could be only choosing to spend it with people that they feel really safe with. I was thinking about this on my way down, and it's the hard bits that we don't think about. It is when they get a Christmas card, is the person's name on the Christmas card or not?
Yes.
Or when you're sending a Christmas card to someone whose partner has died or family member has died, it's what do I write?
Yeah.
And some people will just even not send one for that reason, rather than trying to cope and or work out ways not to avoid it. Really. And I think it's all these little subtleties around festive seasons where it is recognising that it's okay not to be okay, to seek out support, to acknowledge that it's different, and give yourself permission to go with what's right for you. To change your plans however it suits you. And it may offend people, or people may not understand, or whatever, but it's so important that people are encouraged to take care of themselves first off.
And even sort of find ways to remember your loved one. It could be just as simple as lighting a candle, or some sort of tradition that you
Yeah.
know, that you can commence, or planting a tree or a rose.
Yeah.
There's lots of ways.
Mm.
The other thing about that too is it's also okay to be happy. Often, you know, heading towards that and nearly bereaved people might feel really guilty about having a good time.
Yep.
So it's a whole gamut of unknown for the person and unknown for those around them too, about how do we support them.
Yeah, absolutely. I was going to say, do you have advice for, because people do tend to do that, they shy away from death. I think there's
They
a
do.
weird Western mentality around death as being very other and frightening and
It's taboo.
Yes, and people
Yeah.
don't know how to talk to people who are grieving. They just don't know what to say. So, like you
So they
said,
say
they pull
nothing.
away.
Yeah.
And you find that if you go into if you've had the funeral, or you get all the attention, you get all the love, and you get all the support, and then it just disappears. And all of a sudden, you're left on your own, and nobody really wants to interact because it's a bit of a downer.
Yeah.
And so that's hard. for
And
people.
so often I've heard stories over the years that people who they thought were their closest friends suddenly sort of disappear.
Yes.
And others who they thought were acquaintances suddenly shine and provide comfort and support.
Yeah.
And, you know, sometimes it's just being upfront. I'm not sure what to do. Or I'm not sure what to say. Or, you know, what would you talk about a Christmas card?
Don't shy away from it. Just say, "What would you like me to do? I'm here."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And sometimes, you know, bereaved people don't know what they even want, and that's okay too. It's about being open, listening, and just being really present, sincerely and authentically.
Yeah.
You know, anything like platitudes or sort of pushing away, it really does wound relationships in terms of a bereaved person who's feeling incredibly vulnerable can feel quite rejected.
Yeah.
Yep.
And likewise, if a bereaved person needs to be on their own, let them. It's
Yes.
don't be offended. It's not about you. It's about
Exactly.
supporting them. Now, Janet, what did you? Because I know you mentioned that you've come up with a bit of a tradition since your mother passed away. Yeah.
Which is now 23 years. It seems not that long ago, but time has flown. So when my mother died, there's 6 children in our family, and Mum really ruled the roost. And she was a fabulous cook, but she left us with no recipes.
no.
So
All in her head.
All her memories, I know. But one of the best parts of Christmas for our family was Mum would make this incredibly yummy boiled fruitcake.
Ooh.
So
nice.
I made it my mission to try and replicate the cake. I think I had 6 attempts and they were nowhere near cake. Then I found a recipe because I knew there was pineapple or something in there that was different. And I found a recipe in Australian Women's Weekly.
Yes.
That's the culprit.
I was going to say.
Did you
What
look
era
through?
was it?
Yeah.
Did you have a copy of the Australian Women's Weekly?
So I
That
made
is
the cake.
classic.
Did you
made
look
the
through any
cake.
of the others for any of the other recipes?
Oh, look, yes, I have, because
Yeah.
she was English, and so,
Yeah.
you know, Cornish pasties, apple pie, mince pies, you name it, Mum made it. And it was all from memory. So, but she covered it in almonds.
Okay.
And my younger sister, who's very, very cheeky, would every year try and pinch the almonds off, and my mother would be chasing her around and slapping her on the wrist. So when I finally got the recipe right, I took it, and there was lots of laughter and tears because we all shared the cake with my sister and me chasing her for trying to pinch the almonds. So that's our tradition now. that we
Chase your
remember Mum.
sister,
Yeah.
who's possibly not a child anymore.
Yeah, if you met her, you'd. Yeah.
You'd want to chase her too?
Yeah.
Got it.
Oh, that is wonderful. We're currently speaking with Janet Phillips and Inge McGinn from Peninsula Home Hospice. What can we do for you guys? What can the community do? But you are offering this incredible service for free, ongoing, with the Sunrise program as well. What do you need from us?
Well, firstly, volunteers.
Right.
Inge and we have Wendy Fox, who's the manager of the volunteer program. We do recruit each year, so you can go to our website. If you just type in Peninsula Home Hospice, that will get you to our website.
Yep.
And it has all the information on volunteering.
What kind of skill sets are you looking for in a volunteer?
So the volunteers, we call them client care volunteers. So it's really someone who is able to sit and listen and again be present for our clients. And some clients live alone, so they don't have, and their world shrinks as they're dying. They have less ability to go out. People are nervous to have conversations with them. So it's someone to just be a companion, and it could be about listening to life stories. It could be about taking them down the street to watch the beach or to have a coffee. It could be helping them write down, their recipes that they might pass on to their children.
Perfect.
So what we're really looking for is people that can sit comfortably with silence, as well as be engaging, sincere, authentic, and just compassionate.
Do you get training as a volunteer?
Absolutely,
Yes.
very extensive training.
Yeah, because I'm thinking that people might feel a bit, I don't know how I'm going to deal with this. This is,
No, we have probably, it's about 25 hours of training
Wow.
in all.
Okay.
And we look at all sorts of issues like death and dying, communication, spirituality, diversity, illness, bereavement, to get a really whole picture of what they might be facing in the home, as well as all the supports around for them and how they connect with the service. And I think it's really lovely, and our volunteers, I think it says so much for our community that people are willing to put themselves out there and be human with another human in such a vulnerable time in their lives. I think that also in terms of what we can do or what the community can do is not necessarily even something for us. It is about recognising those around you that might be grieving and just taking that special moment to think about how they might be and how best you can just have an open hand of support. So everyone can do that tomorrow.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'm getting back to the service and something else that would be lovely if people really, want to support us. Donations are very, very welcome. It's a tough time for people, but with the Victorian government, we get a limited amount. The rest is through fundraising and donations. So,
which I imagine is a huge chunk of your time is
Yes.
trying to
Yes.
get people
Yes.
on board.
And-
Yeah, absolutely. So if you don't have the time to volunteer, or if you don't think you have the capability to volunteer, dig deep.
yes, please.
Yeah, and that's a wonderful thing too. And is that also on your website? So if they go to your
It
website, there
absolutely
is a
is.
donation.
Yes, there's a little button you just click on.
Fantastic. Do
There
you
is-
do fundraisers?
We do. We have lots of fundraising events. We have an unframed art event which happens every
Ooh.
2 years. And that you'll see, I'm sorry this is radio, but all our pamphlets are now with the local artist Janine Dado. She's
And they're
kind of
very
donated-
attractive, I can say from here.
Beautiful. So she comes up and you'll see on our website she's there on a lot of our pamphlets and booklets and things like that. So
Gorgeous.
it'll take you through all about our history. We're turning 40 next year.
Ooh, big
So it's
celebrations?
Yeah, big celebrations. So we'll have some big events. So watch this space.
Yeah,
we have
you-
a newsletter that you can subscribe to that'll keep you up to date with what's coming
Wonderful.
up.
And if you keep us up to date, then we can.
We
keep up
certainly will. Now I know where you guys live.
Yeah. And now you'll be working here.
And now I'll be working
Yeah,
here.
exactly.
I'm signing the last form.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, we just need your PIN number now.
Yeah.
No, no, that's fantastic. Well, and so if people want to learn more about what you do, they go to the website. Is that the
Yep.
best place?
Yes, absolutely.
Do you have a online social media presence as well?
We do. We're on Facebook and Instagram.
As Peninsula Home Hospice.
Yes.
Brilliant.
Yes.
All right. Well, that sounds absolutely amazing. I am so floored by what you do. I had no idea it was a free service, that you are supporting so many people in the community and on the peninsula, and I am so moved by what you do. This is
Thank you.
extraordinary. And now it feels very trite to say we've been spilling the tea. But we have. So we've been spilling the tea with Janet Phillips and Inge McGinn from the Peninsula Home Hospice. If you want to learn more or get involved or support them financially, head to peninsulahospice.com.au. I looked it up. And do what you can to do your bit, because you may well be wanting their help one day. So let's give before we take. So become a volunteer. If you've got, how many hours a week do you reckon they'd need to give up?
What we really look at is probably 3 or 4 hours.
3 or 4
that's
hours.
not much at
That's
all.
the
Not
length of a Marvel movie. That is not a lot of your time.
We'll use that.
Yeah.
Training.
Yes. Yeah. So you can do that. So if you have time to spare, and we all do, because we all sit and watch Netflix, go and get in touch with Janet and Inge at peninsulahospice.com.au. Thank you so much for coming in today, guys, and for chatting with us. And thank you for the remarkable work you're doing for our community.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And remember,
Absolutely. Thanks for
everyone,
having
to
us.
take care of each other over the holiday period.
Absolutely.
It was amazing.
Lovely. And welcome aboard, Janet.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. I'll start on Monday.
You're hired.
Yeah.